Welcome to the assembly video for the Express Pro. Now, it's going to be important that you take all your parts out of the shipping container or shipping box and go ahead and lay them out so that you make sure everything's there. And once you have all your parts, you're going to need to make sure that you have 3 tools to put this together. The first being a 1/2-inch open end wrench. From there, you're going to need a 1/8 Allen key as well as a 3/16 Allen key. With those 3 tools, you should be able to put this whole thing together. From there, you're going to want to make sure that you have the main horizontal frame of the Express Pro. And from there, you're going to need to make sure that you have both of the riser pads. There should be 2 riser pads as well as the quick pin that secures them into place. You're also going to make sure that there's a total of 6 torque handles. Some of the torque handles may already be installed on the press. There's going to be 2 here, 2 on the top, and then the other 2 will be mounted in the back. From there, you're going to need to make sure that there are 2 cross straps as well as 2 bolts that hold the jack into position. They should also come with washers as well as lock nuts. Then you're going to want to make sure that you have the actual jack itself for the Express Pro. And then there's going to need to be 2 crank handles, 1 for the jack as well as 1 for the horizontal adjustment. And lastly, you're going to have 2 of the easy relief handles along with the 2 screws that fasten them to the end of the arms. Once you make sure all your parts are there, we're going to take you through the easy steps to quickly assemble this Express Pro. Now, the first step to your assembly is going to be to take the Express Pro jack and just slide it into position on the horizontal frame itself. There's going to be 2 holes here for these longer bolts to slide right into. So you're going to push the press into the position where the 2 holes line up and just go ahead and drop your bolts right in to where they need to be, and go ahead and put first your flat washer and then your lock nut underneath, and then securely tighten them down using the open-faced 1/2-inch wrench. Once you've fully secured the bolts for the jack, the next step is going to be to go ahead and slide on the riser pads, and these are extremely easy to put on. You just slide them on and then go ahead and put your safety pin right through. And for a compound bow, you're going to want to make sure that these pads face in. You'll see that the slots are offset. For the crossbow, they'll actually be the opposite direction, but I'm going to go ahead and face them that way. Put this pin through. Safety pads installed. Then the next step is going to be to go ahead and install your relief handles. And these make it incredibly easy to support these arms when you're working on them or when you're adjusting them, depending on the bow that you have. And you're going to need to make sure that you tighten those securely with that 3/16 Allen key that we had mentioned earlier. There's just 2 holes here on the end that these screws go right into. So you're going to go ahead and put those into position. Tighten them down all the way. Secure them. And do that on both sides. Okay, once you've fully tightened down these relief handles, then the next thing that you can do is make sure that your torque handles are mounted in all the positions that they need to be. Again, there should be 1 here on the limb adjustment wheel, right here on the top. There should be 1 on the horizontal adjustment bracket, And then the last ones are actually going to go right here in the back side of the press, and should be pretty self-explanatory where those go back here. So you can go ahead and tighten those into position. And then the last thing that we're going to do is go ahead and install these cross straps. To properly install the metal straps of the X-Press, what you want to do is you're going to want to make sure that the X-Press logo is down here towards the bottom of the arms so that your numbered holes feed through the top part of the jack right here. Okay, and to do that, it's easy to install these. You just need to turn your handle into the open mode so that these straps can feed freely right down through here. Okay, from there you want to make sure of another thing that's important, and that is when you pull the peg down here, you're going to notice that there's two spacers for these cross straps. One spacer is shorter than the other, and that's important because you need to offset these straps so they feed properly through the top of the jack. So if you put the large spacer on the inside of the metal strap on this side, you need to make sure that that large spacer is on the back side of the strap on the opposite side. So go ahead and pull your pin, slide your pin through. I'm going to put that larger spacer on the front side of this strap. I'm going to push the pin through. Then I'm going to put the smaller one on. Okay, make sure you put your safety pin through there as well. Then when you come to the opposite side, again, make sure you turn your handle into a position where this is going to slide freely down through here. Okay, pull your pin, your peg, and then we're going to make sure that our bushings are opposite. I had the thick in the front there, so I'm going to put the thick on the back over here on this side. Put my safety pin through. Okay, then from there you want to make sure that you have these handles in the correct position because these actually turn on the jack. So to make sure that you have this in the correct spot, you want to be able to turn this handle into the ratchet mode and make sure that this ratchets properly. You want to do that on both sides. Okay, that's a lock position. There's the ratchet position. And you can see that it ratchets properly, so I've done that exactly how you need to. Then the last thing to do is to make sure that you install your main crank handles, whether it's the one here on the horizontal adjustment or the one that mounts to the front of the jack. You may elect to do that after you've securely mounted your X-Press Pro to the X-Press stand or some type of worktop, depending on what kind of application you're going to use it for. It's simple to install those. It's just a matter of taking that 1/8 inch Allen key and installing that screw that comes with the jack handles. And that's all you need to do to properly assemble the X-Press Pro.